Video games are a broad topic with many different genres from racing to platformer to bullet hell, so finding the best game franchise is obviously very difficult. However, there's one game franchise that I believe is the best over the 40+ years of releases: Tetris. To prove it, I'll be judging the Tetris franchise against gameplay and replayability, aesthetic and audio, accessibility, community, and impact. I wrapped up gameplay and replayability together since the reasons for both are intertwined. The gameplay of Tetris is well known, but for the people who have lived under a rock for the last 40 years, Tetris is a puzzle game where, most of the time, the goal is to clear as many lines as you can. You do so by filling a row with the pieces that fall down, called tetrominoes, which is the term used for the 7 pieces used within Tetris, but outside of Tetris they are referred to as tetrominoes. Going back on topic, the speed referred to as level increases usually by every 10 lines. With Tetris being a puzzle game that's simple to pick up and play, it's attractive to a large group of people. With Tetris replayability, it being a puzzle game means it's always going to be a new experience. But what if this style of gameplay is boring to you? Not to worry, there are plenty of Tetris games that switch up the formula. If you want 2 games in one, pick up the Puyo Puyo Tetris games. If you want a more complex game, try Magicalis or Bombliss. If you want a hardcore Tetris experience, the TGM games serve that itch, and all of the games I mentioned can be played on current consoles. The aesthetics and audio of Tetris are not what most people think about it. Obviously, Tetris Effect is what most people go to when they think about the aesthetics and audio of Tetris, but almost all games carry their own unique identity. For example, early releases of Tetris use the Soviet mind game aesthetic. Notable examples are the Famicom version by Bulletproof Software, the Game Boy version, which has another notable feature I'll be revisiting, NES Tetris, early computer titles, and Tengen Tetris, especially the box art. Today, Tetris has a more complex visual identity with the aforementioned Tetris Effect, the Puyo Puyo Tetris games, and Tetris 99, all sharing different visual styles. The audio of Tetris is iconic, with a type of music from the Game Boy Tetris that became one of the most iconic tracks in video game history. For the accessibility of Tetris, it can be played anywhere, from the 80s with the Nintendo Entertainment System to the Game Boy, to the Tetris website, to the Apple Terminal, the last 2 for free. Not to mention every major console of the last 30 years had Tetris. With Tetris being so simple that a 10-year-old can play it but difficult to master, it's the most accessible game in history, bridging generations. For the community, it is massive. For example, some of the sub-communities in the Tetris community are the NES Tetris, 99, and Effect communities. Communities lead to competitive scenes and lead to mastery of the game, keeping the game fresh and new even after 40 years, with many pro players in the space. The impact of Tetris is monumental. Amid tensions between America and the Soviet Union in the Cold War, Tetris was one of the first, if not the first, pieces of media to captivate both the United States and the Soviet Union. With the constant threat of nuclear annihilation, this simple game may have brought these nations together, no matter how little, which is truly remarkable. And that's why Tetris is the perfect game.